6 foods to avoid if you have an enlarged prostate. Prostate enlargement, also known as BPH, is a common problem which occurs in men, especially over the age of 50. This condition can make it difficult to urinate properly, may cause frequent urination, and pain around the pelvis, the abdomen, and the area between the scrotum and the anus in men. So what's really happening here? Well, as you can see in this image, the prostate is a small gland which sits just underneath the bladder, the organ that holds your urine or your pee. And then your pee flows through this tube called the urethra. When the prostate starts to grow, become swollen or enlarged, it starts putting pressure on the little tube connected to your bladder. This is where the problems start, because your pee can't pass through the tube properly because of the swelling, and the liquid starts getting backed up and trapped inside your bladder. This can cause poor bladder control, especially during the night when you're trying to sleep. You may have an urgent need to pee, sometimes with only a small amount of urine coming out. You may also have a weaker urine stream which could potentially stop and start as you pee, or you may need to strain or push to start the stream of urine in the first place. Studies show us that prostate enlargement is caused by hormonal imbalances where there's a buildup of anabolic hormones in the body, such as estrogen, insulin, or DHT. Unfortunately, certain foods that we eat have been shown to stimulate these hormones, causing the prostate to become swollen and enlarged, and this raises the risk of prostatitis, infections, and a higher risk of prostate cancer. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the top 6 foods that you must avoid if you have prostate enlargement. You'll also learn about some simple lifestyle changes and remedies that you can use to help shrink your prostate and improve your urinary flow. Just a quick reminder, this video is for educational purposes only, so do speak to your doctor if you have any medical concerns. The first food on my list to avoid with prostate problems is dairy. If you have an enlarged prostate that's causing problems with your urination, it's very important that you start to cut out dairy foods from your diet, like butter, cheese, milk, yogurt, and cream. You see, these dairy foods are produced from milk, usually from a cow or a goat, and they contain natural growth hormones which help infant animals to grow. The problem is that these hormones can irritate an already enlarged prostate, causing this gland to start swelling up and putting pressure on your pee tube and your bladder. If you don't have prostate problems, dairy foods can be very nutritious and healthy. However, if you do have prostate enlargement, try cutting dairy out of your diet for 1 to 2 weeks and notice if your symptoms improve. The second food to avoid is vegetable oil. Most of the common cooking oils are made from highly processed and genetically modified grains like soy, corn, cottonseed, canola, grapeseed, and rice bran. Contrary to their name, these oils do not come from vegetables at all. So-called vegetable oils are often used in fast foods, ready meals, deep-fried meats, store-bought salad dressings, margarine, and coffee creamers, amongst many others. These oils are rich in inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids, which can trigger massive amounts of inflammation in your prostate gland and especially in your liver. So what does this mean? Well, you see, your liver plays an important role in balancing out your hormones and filtering out any excess that you don't need. But when you weaken your liver by eating these refined oils, hormones like estrogen and insulin start to build up in the body and cause the prostate to grow, and the walls of your bladder lose their tone and start becoming weaker. So start cutting these out of your diet completely and cook your own healthy meals at home using extra virgin olive oil, cold pressed avocado oil, and organic raw coconut oil. I also suggest that you start eating more omega-3 rich foods like oily fish, salmon, sardines, and pasture-raised eggs. These omega-3s are anti-inflammatory and will counter any of the damage from eating too many vegetable oils. If you're finding this information helpful at all, please tap the like, subscribe, and turn all notifications on to stay updated with my latest health and nutrition tips. Jumping back to number 3, which may seem obvious, but it's actually one of the worst for your prostate: sugar. Whenever you eat refined sugar, flour, grains, or starch, your body quickly converts them into blood sugar called glucose. This can cause damage to your cells very quickly, especially if you eat a lot of sugar in one sitting. This is where your body does some very clever chemistry. To prevent you from dying, your body releases insulin, a hormone that takes the sugar out of your blood and puts it into your cells in order to make fuel and energy for your body. The problem occurs when you continuously consume refined sugar and foods that turn into sugar. Your pancreas will pump out more and more of this insulin hormone. And as insulin is a growth hormone, high amounts make the prostate grow larger very quickly. The high level of sugar that's going through your kidneys will also cause you to urinate more often, especially when you're trying to sleep at night. So the obvious solution is to start cutting down on your sugar and refined carb intake from fruit juices, sweets, biscuits, pastries, breads, sodas, cereals, and all of the flour-based foods. I recommend that you stop eating after 7 p.m. to allow your blood sugars to stabilize. You'll soon notice that you need to pee less and you'll get a much better night's sleep. Moving on now to the 4th food, which is unfermented soy. I've already mentioned in the section on vegetable oil how soy oil is highly inflammatory and can cause prostate enlargement and liver damage. However, it's also very important that you're aware of the cheap, inexpensive soy proteins that are being added to all kinds of different foods. Soy protein isolates, which is this soy protein powder, is often added to diet shakes, ready meals, vegan meat patties, so-called protein bars, baby formulas, and processed meats. This cheap protein causes a massive increase in insulin in the body, an anabolic hormone that can make prostate enlargement and urinary problems worse. Soy powder also raises estrogen, another hormone that can cause prostate enlargement in high amounts. Soy is also genetically modified and it's grown in the presence of chemicals like pesticides, herbicides, and insecticides, which can all disrupt your hormones. And if that's not bad enough for you, soy is also rich in phytic acid, a chemical which can block your body's ability to absorb minerals like zinc, which are essential for normal prostate function. So if you have any prostate issues at all, cut out the unfermented soy 100%. There is an exception to this rule, however. You may eat organic fermented soy foods like miso, soy sauce, tempeh, tofu, and natto. The microbes that are used in the fermentation process help to remove the harmful effects of soy, making it much healthier for your body. The 5th thing that you should avoid is alcohol. Alcohol is a solvent which damages your liver cells, causing hormonal changes in your body, such as raised estrogen and insulin levels. Too much of these anabolic hormones causes prostate enlargement and raises your blood pressure, causing weaker arteries and blood vessels. So it's recommended to start cutting down on your alcohol intake, especially the beer, which is very estrogenic. Consider drinking 1 to 2 cups of kombucha tea in the early evening as a replacement, as this helps to relax your body and nervous system without the excessive amounts of alcohol. This is a fermented drink which supports the friendly microbes that live in your gut to help eliminate toxins and produce more bile to keep your liver clean and your hormones balanced. Finally, let's talk about processed meats. Processed meats are foods like salami, hot dogs, canned meats, pepperoni, and ham. Unfortunately, these are meats that have been processed and mixed with all kinds of chemical preservatives, nitrates, dextrose, sugar, soy proteins, and vegetable oils that I've already covered in this video. Studies show that processed meats can increase the risk of cancer because of how they cause oxidative damage to the cells and form sticky proteins that clog up your arteries and cause blood clots. By damaging your liver, processed meats also raise the risk of developing prostate cancer and make existing prostate problems worse. So cut out the processed and the conventional meats and start eating higher quality meats from local farms. Ensure that your meat is grass-fed, grass-finished, organic. This will ensure that no hormones and junk foods were present in the livestock. Grass-fed meats are much higher in nutrients and will not contain the harmful chemicals that are added to the processed meats. It's very important that you make this distinction. In addition, grass-fed beef and organ meats like liver are packed full of zinc, heme iron and proteins that will support a healthy prostate gland and help it to produce seminal fluid for reproduction. I want to make an important note here. Please remember that every single person has a unique body and biochemistry, so it's important that you trial and error, removing different foods from your diet, and notice if your urinary or prostate problems improve. You can then make more permanent changes as you go along. Later in the video, I'm going to share with you 6 lifestyle changes and remedies that you can use to shrink your prostate back down to its normal size. But first, let's look a little deeper at a few of the most common causes of prostate enlargement so that you can really understand what's happening. The first and most common cause of an enlarged prostate is eating too many refined foods like sugar, processed grains and flour, which will deplete your zinc reserves, causing higher levels of DHT, insulin or estrogen. Coincidentally, being overweight can also trigger prostate enlargement because the more fat you have on your body, the higher your estrogen or insulin levels, hormones that could be making the gland grow. Another problem is that when we get older, our stomach acids become weaker, which reduces our ability to absorb zinc and other nutrients that are needed for a healthy prostate. If you have liver damage, you're also more likely to have hormonal imbalances because your liver helps to filter out the excess hormones. Non-organic foods that we've talked about in this video often contain trace amounts of pesticides and chemicals that can damage your liver, resulting in hormone imbalance and potential prostate enlargement. Finally, if you already have prostate enlargement, dairy foods and processed meats may be making it worse because they contain growth hormone and hormone disruptors. Now let's explore some of the best lifestyle tips to help shrink your prostate back down. 1. Start eating a small handful of pumpkin seeds on a daily basis, as these are some of the most potent prostate enlargement fighting foods that you can eat. The zinc, phytosterols and vitamin E in these seeds work synergistically to reduce prostate size by balancing your hormones. 2. If you have problems with urination, consider taking 120 milligrams of stinging nettle root 3 times per day. This is a natural herb which helps to reduce inflammation in the prostate so that you can empty your bladder normally. It works by preventing a buildup of DHT or estrogen. 3. Cut back on the foods that we've listed in this video, especially the dairy, sugar, vegetable oils and processed meats, which are all causing hormonal changes and inflammation in the prostate. Also, if you're a smoker, start cutting back and quit. Smoking injures your blood vessels and encourages prostate enlargement. 4. To balance out your hormones, start consuming a salad every single day containing organic cruciferous vegetables like radish, broccoli, arugula, kale, collard greens or cabbage. These vegetables contain sulforaphane and dimethyl-methane, which will help your liver to filter and detoxify excess hormones that are causing your prostate to grow. Also, eat foods that have been shown to reduce prostate size, like tomatoes, organic grass-fed beef, shellfish, wild salmon, avocados, and drink some decaffeinated green tea. All of these foods contain properties which promote a healthy prostate and healthy seminal fluid. Step 5 is to start performing high-intensity interval training. Just 10 minutes of HIIT twice per week can dramatically improve testosterone levels in men, helping to reduce the other anabolic hormones like DHT, estrogen, and insulin. Exercise also helps to burn excess sugar in your blood, which could be contributing to inflammation in the prostate. 6. Finally, if you're overweight in the belly region or you drink alcohol on a daily basis, it's likely that you have a fatty liver, which is causing hormonal changes and inflammation in the body. If this is the case, follow an intermittent fasting plan where you eat all of your daily calories in a 4-hour window and fast for the remaining 20 hours. Fasting is one of the best tools in your arsenal to shrink an enlarged prostate, and it also helps to clean out the liver of excess fat. If you'd like to learn more about the top 6 vitamins to use to shrink an enlarged prostate, go ahead and tap on this video on the screen now. Thank you so much for watching my video today, and as always, I wish you great health, wealth, and happiness.